Welcome friends, in this series of video we are having some interesting discussion related to cell cycle and division. So in this regard, recently we had a discussion regarding the nuclear contents, that is DNA, chromosome, etc. Ideally, the next thing to be discussed is regarding the nuclear division, that is karyokinesis, happening either through mitosis or meiosis and its different stages. So before proceeding with that, I would like to get back to the previous phase, that is the interphase. Okay, and then have a very short interesting concept discussion on that, right? What is that? It is nothing but a phase called as G0 phase. Okay, it's called as G0 phase. So ideally G0 phase is called as resting phase, or it is also called as QUIESCENT. It is also called as quiescent phase. So in this phase the cell normally remains at rest, hence the name resting phase. So what is the nature of cells in this phase? So cells, as said, cells are going to be non-dividing. Okay, non-dividing, but it doesn't mean that cells are inactive, but they are metabolically active. So these two are going to be the characteristic feature of cells which are in the G0 phase. So cells are non-dividing and cells are going to be metabolically active. Where do you really find any cells being in G0 phase? Can give you two contexts. So generally this is seen in animal cell. Okay, animal cells. I can take human as an example because human belonging to the animal kingdom. We have two cells in human. One is the brain, okay, which is made up of neuron, and the heart, which is made up of cardiac muscles. Okay, cardiac muscles. So friends, these two cells generally they don't divide. Okay, after some time, say after birth, they don't divide. So these two cells in humans are known to be present in G0 phase. Usually the dividing cells will have G1 S, G2, which is called as the interphase, then followed by mitosis. So these non-dividing cell, they exit out of the G1 phase. You can see this arrow mark. They exit out of the G1 phase and they are present in G0 phase as a non-dividing, but they are metabolically active. It doesn't mean that the cells are metabolically inactive, right? Which means that they keep doing their work, but they don't divide, right? This is one scenario I can say where we see some cells in G0 phase, okay? Brain and heart, this neuron and cardiac muscle. Apart from that, even the routine tissue which keeps dividing actively, okay, when there are sufficient number of cells, okay, which means that there is no higher necessity for the cells to divide, they come to G0 phase. And when there is a cell damage, when the cell has to further divide to replace its number, then cell exit out of the G0 phase, continue the division, and then again when the cell numbers are sufficient, they again come to G0 phase. Hope you get this point. I repeat again, in the second scenario, the actively dividing cells also, when the cell numbers are sufficient, they remain in G0 phase, but when there is a necessity for the cells to divide, they resume the cell cycle, okay, increase the number of cells, make it sufficient, and then they go to G0 phase, right? So this is basically a resting phase. Okay, as everyone needs a rest, we can assume that the cells also sometimes needs rest. So there is a space, okay, given in the cell cycle where the cells can have some rest, right? As I said, this is a very short concept. So before I end, I would like to drive one important point here. I will take the discussion to cancer. What are cancer? Cancers are nothing but abnormal increase in number of cells. The cells keeps dividing uncontrollably. Okay, cells number increases, even the cells quality is also going to be very, very less, right? Due to various reasons, we will have a separate discussion on that, right? So in short, cancer is due to abnormal cell division, and you see the cells, two cells, tissues which I have mentioned here, that is the neuron and the cardiac muscle, that is the tissue of brain and heart, they don't divide, which means that when there is no division, there is no chance of getting a cancerous condition in brain and heart, right? So that's the reason why you don't hear a person having a heart cancer, but you hear a heart attack. That is a different, because the due to various reasons the heart doesn't contract. Okay, the heart is, I can say it's a paralyzed or something, right? And also you don't often hear say it's brain tumor or brain cancer, but friends, there are some cases where you hear that persons undergo a treatment for brain cancer or something. Generally, brain has got a neuron and also a supporting tissue. Apart from neuron, they also have a supporting tissue like neuroglia. Okay, these cells are destined to support the neuron. So whatever cancerous condition or the tumor that we see in brain might be in neuroglia but not in neuron. But heart, since it is completely made up of myocardium, that is a non-dividing cells, we don't see any case of cancerous condition in case of heart, right? Hope you would have got this concept. Right, in next video in this series we will start discussing the different phases of mitosis, okay, for which the prior discussion on the DNA, chromosome, etc. have been already discussed in previous video. So please watch that and get ready for the next interesting session, right? Thank you.